وبركاته. وعليكم السلام. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم والعن أعدائهم أجمعين. قال الله تعالى في محكم كتابه الكريم: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإذ قال لقمان لابنه وهو يعظه يا بني لا تشرك بالله إن الشرك لظلم عظيم. صدق الله العلي العظيم. It was only a few days ago when a person asked me, he said, how do we use the Quran in a practical way? How do I make the Quran as a book I could benefit from rather than just get the blessings? Because sometimes we read the Quran for the blessings, not for learning. There's a big difference between using it as a book of blessings or a book of learning. I said to him, we need to look at the verses of the Quran and we need to ask ourselves, what lessons are there in each verse? What is every verse trying to tell me? How do I look at the verses? Do I look at them from the Arabic perspective just to see what the word means? Or is there more to the verse? Because each word in the Quran, each word in the ayah, in the verse, it has meaning. It has at least 3, 4, 5 meanings and more. The problem is we're not seeing it. The problem is we're not reading it. So we need to put more effort into trying to see what the Quran is trying to tell us. In this particular verse that I just read to you in Surah Luqman, it's one short verse. But if we have to look at it and try to derive the meanings and lessons from it, we could get at least 15 to 20 lessons that are practical, that we can apply in our lives. I will touch upon a few that we can learn from, and so you get the hint of what I'm trying to get at. In this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about maw'idha, talks about Luqman giving maw'idha or advice for his son. Allah is trying to tell us that one of the ways that we have to preach to people, one of the ways that we need to educate people, educate ourselves or educate others, and especially our families, through the usloob, the method of maw'idha. Because sometimes we don't do that. Sometimes I come and I have a very strong argument with my kids. Why aren't you praying? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? So the usloob, the method I use is not correct. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, do not use that method because it will not work. If you want to use a method that works, you have to advise, maw'idha. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell us how we give that maw'idha, that advice to other people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even when He talks about the Quran, He calls it maw'idha. For example, Allah says, قَدْ جَاءَتْكُمْ مَوْعِظَةٌ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. The Quran itself came in the form of advising you, not in the form of do and don't. In the form of trying to advise you so you can go to the right path. Even in the narrations we have from the Prophet ﷺ, and narrated that the Prophet used to say, and he used to say to Jibreel ﷺ, he used to say to him, "Evni, advise me, tell me what I should do, what I shouldn't do." And Amir al-Mu'mineen Salamullah alayhi, he used to do the same thing from the Prophet. The companions of Amir al-Mu'mineen, they used to come to him and they used to say to him, "Give us maw'idha, evna, give us an advice. Don't just try to preach to us and tell us do and don't, because that will not work." When we look at this verse itself, إِذْ قَالَ لُقْمَانَ لِإِبْنِهِ, We understand that when it comes to tabligh and preaching, it has to start with myself. I cannot come and try to preach to you something that I'm not applying myself. So when Allah uses the example of Luqman, before a verse prior to that, Allah says, لَقَدْ آتَى لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةِ He gave him the wisdom. So Luqman brought himself to a stage where he can preach to people, where he can advise people. If he wasn't in that level, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not give him the chance or the opportunity to be mentioned in the Quran. But because Luqman elevated himself, then he was able to give advice. So this is what we understand from Qala Luqman. So he was a person who elevated himself. When it comes to maw'idah itself, advising people, it has to be based on knowledge. It has to be based on hikmah. Luqman was giving hikmah, he was giving wisdom, but through that wisdom and that knowledge he was able to preach. For a person to come and sit on in the minbar and trying to preach people by just thinking that he's saying something correct, that does not make does not cut it. He has to have knowledge. And knowledge is not information, two different things. Sometimes I read a book and I come and say what I read. That's just information, I'm sharing information, not knowledge. So when it comes to taking advice from people, it has to be taken from a person who has knowledge. Therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَقَدْ آتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةِ Then Allah says, وَهُوَ يَعِظُهُ So hikmah always precedes maw'idah. It comes before trying to preach. And when it comes to learning from others, we have to take information from those who are learned. So it has to start from above to below, not vice versa. Then, if we look at this verse in more detail, in depth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قَالَ لُقْمَانَ لِإِبْنِهِ So the father, me and you who have kids, children, we have a duty upon our kids that we need to give them that maw'idah, that advice. It's not an option. It's not something I can do and I cannot do. We have to do it. It's compulsory. If I do not do my job when it comes to preaching to my kids, then I'm falling short. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on the day of judgment, He will question me and say, why have you not taught your kids? So maw'idah to my kids is a priority, it's compulsory, it's a must. Also we do understand from this verse that the kids, our sons, are more in need of advice than anyone else. That's why we see Luqman, he has to come and teach his kid and give him that advice. When it comes to maw'idah and giving advice, it has to be based on logic. Recently, one of the parents said to me, my son is not praying anymore. I said to him, why? He said, I don't know. I said to him, have you taught him Islam correctly? Have you taught him the foundation of Islam? Who God is, why we have to worship God? He said, no. I said to him, how do you expect your kids to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to pray to Him, or pray to a God He does not know? It's a natural cause and effect. And the effect, if you don't understand, the effect will become, he says, why should I pray? Because I don't know who God is. If I don't know God, I'm not going to pray to Him. So naturally, he will leave the prayer. So one has to come and teach his kids from the beginning that there is what we call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, build the foundation, and then you go up. So the kids are more in need of our maw'idah than anything else. So it has to begin with logic. We have to explain to them why we need to do such actions. And when it comes to giving maw'idah and advice, according to this verse, it says, the verse is very sensitive. It says, وَهُوَ يَعِظُهُ Then he said, يَا بُنَيَّ It has to start with love. If you start to preach to your kids and talk to your kids and children and the people around you, if it's not coming from your heart, from love, trying to guide them, trying to get them to reach a point where they are safe in this world and in the second world, then you're not doing the job correctly. it has to be always, the motivation has to be based on love. That you love people, you love your kids, you love everyone around you, therefore you're trying to push them and give them the energy they require to move in their life. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya bunay, my son. He's not using our Iraqi terms, unfortunately. A lot of examples I could mention, but maybe it would be disrespectful. I had one of the parents, he said to his son, he was trying to get him to go in the house, and he said to him, go and may God curse your father. I would say in Arabic, لعنت الله على والديك. The kid naturally, he was maybe 5-6 years old. He said to him, no, Allah yal'anuhu. So the same swearing he gave back to him. It's very disturbing that a kid swears back at his father. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this is not how you teach your kids. You have to begin with love and call him my son, my darling, my beautiful son. Tell him some words that he could move with you. That when you tell him to do something, it becomes easy for him to do. If you use that method where it's harsh, swearing words, unfortunately we call our kids all the names that we could think of when it comes to animals. Donkeys, dogs, pigs. This is not the Quran method. This is not how we should preach and teach our kids. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He gives us one verse in the Quran, as small as it is, even Ya Bunay, the ulama, they say in that word itself, you could derive so much lessons in life that you could apply. When it comes to the youth, talking to people who are in a stage of life where it's hard for them to understand and to come with you, to reason with you, you have to use that method also. The method of love, the method of being lean, the method of being easygoing, so they can follow with you. If you use that hard line, they will not come. And like I said, it has to begin with love and emotion. And when it comes to giving and preaching and giving advice, it has to be based on a mutual respect. You have to respect the other person. Even though his ideology and his ideas might be different than yours, but you need to respect them. You need to understand how to deal with them. You can't say to him, you're wrong, you're misguided, you're going to go to hellfire. This is our method, not the Quran's method. The Quran says no. Respect. That's why he says, Ya bunay. Regardless of your belief, I have respect for you. I want to help you, so I'm going to listen to you. Whatever you have to say, say it. And then we can discuss, we can debate, we can see where we can go with that advice. When it comes to giving advice, we always, according to the Quran, and especially in this verse, he says, وَهُوَ يَعِظُهُ, he's trying to give him advice, لَا تُشْرِكْ. So the first thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about when it comes to us trying to teach our kids, we have to begin from the basics, which is believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we could give our kids what they require when it comes to understanding who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is correctly, then everything else will go smoothly. Imam Zayn Abidin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he states that if you give Allah His right, all other rights will be given naturally. Take the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala away and all rights will follow. The building won't last long. Therefore, we have to start with the basics. Allah says shirk. He does not say kufr. Two big differences. Sometimes our kids believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because we taught them that. They say, well, my father is a Muslim, so naturally I'm a Muslim. He believes in God, thus I believe in God. But in his relationship with human beings, in his relationship with this world, he has many partners to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without him realizing. So we need to teach them, we need to make them come to a realization that there's a difference between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and having partners to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to Luqman, says to his son, La tushrik. And if we come to realize and we could touch upon the concept of Tawheed and we teach it to our kids correctly, then our kids will move in the right manner. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Atayna Luqman al-Hikmah in the beginning. Then Luqman said to him, Ya bunay. Then he said to him, La tushrik. So it's a sequence. One follows the other. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants when it comes to your kids, you have to preach to them that which is most important. And that is the issue of trying to understand God correctly. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, when it comes to shirk, having partners to Allah, Allah says, لَظُلْمٌ عَظِيمٌ. The worst thing that you could do in this life is to have partners to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you give somebody the entire world and everything that it contains, but then he has partners to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that will be useless. It will have no meaning, it will not help him, nor in this world, nor in the hereafter. These are just few lessons that I touched upon on few words of this verse. So when it comes to the Quran, how do we use it practically? Rather than trying to understand what the words mean in Arabic, let's try to ask ourselves, or we ask the Quran, and we say, what lessons can you give me so I can apply in my life, personally, to my kids, and to my society that could work? That if we follow it, we will become a better society. If you remember, a few nights before, I spoke about Amr al-Ma'ruf and Nahy al-Munkar, how we could bring our society to be the best among societies. If we don't understand the lessons of the Quran, what the Quran tries to teach us, then the society itself, it will fall. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآل بيته الطيبين